Procrastination might sound like a harmless word until it starts destroying your life. And yes, I'm talking to you, the one with 1,000 ideas, a million dreams, yet stuck in an invisible cycle of anxiety, guilt, and self-sabotage. They told you you were lazy, disorganized, unfocused. But what if I could prove to you, in just 17 minutes, that the problem was never a lack of discipline, but a brain that learned to protect you the wrong way? It sounds counterintuitive, but procrastination is actually your body's way of trying to keep you safe. The problem? That safety comes at a high price. Low productivity, missed opportunities, and a mountain of abandoned goals. The good news? You can flip the script. You don't need to become a robot or wait for perfect motivation to show up. What you need is to understand the root of your procrastination and apply real, no-fluff techniques that reprogram your brain from the inside out. I'm going to show you what no one ever told you about dopamine, ADHD, anxiety, and focus. I'll give you a simple, powerful, and straight-to-the-point method to regain your momentum, realign your mindset, and break free from self-sabotage once and for all. But first, let me invite you to watch until the end, because these 17 minutes might not just destroy procrastination, they might awaken a whole new version of you. No one wakes up saying, "Today, I want to fail." And yet, there it is, procrastination. The strange thing is, most people think it's laziness or lack of willpower, but it's not that at all. In reality, procrastination is rooted in emotion. It's the child of anxiety, fear of failure, and perfectionism. When the brain perceives a task as difficult, it activates the amygdala, our internal alarm system, and it screams, "Danger!" The result? The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus and productivity, simply shuts down. This is especially true for people with ADHD or anxiety, where the self-sabotage system runs on overdrive. It's like trying to drive with the handbrake pulled. The person wants to act, but the brain won't let them. That project that was due Friday, it becomes an emotional nightmare because before they can even face the task, they're already battling the belief that they're going to fail. And this is where behavioral psychology steps in, explaining that this pattern comes from earlier life experiences, childhood trauma, constant criticism, the lingering feeling of never being good enough. So how does this show up in real life? It's the person staring at a blank document for hours, unable to type a single word. The one whose heart races just thinking about replying to an email. The one who blames themselves for not being able to get things done, yet doesn't understand why they can't. They're not being lazy. They're at war with their own mind. Procrastination is the silent cry of a brain trying to protect itself. It's the body saying, "I'm not ready," even when the clock is screaming it's time. And the worst part? The more you delay, the heavier the guilt gets, and the heavier the guilt, the harder it becomes to act. It's a vicious cycle driven by a dysregulated dopamine system, one that feeds on instant relief and destroys sustained motivation. But there's a reason behind all of this. There's a logic, and there's also a way out. And it all starts with understanding what's really going on inside your brain chemistry. Now enters one of the biggest villains disguised as an ally, dopamine. No, it's not just the pleasure hormone like so many people say. In truth, it's much more than that. It's the messenger of motivation. Dopamine is what moves you from idea to action. But here's the blind spot. There are actually two types of it. Phasic dopamine, which shows up in quick bursts, like when you get a like, watch a funny video, or hear your phone buzz. And tonic dopamine, quieter and more stable, which fuels you to stick with a goal for weeks, months, until you achieve what once felt impossible. Guess which one is falling apart in the modern world? The truth is harsh, but freeing. We're addicted to phasic dopamine. With every notification, our brains are being trained to crave tiny rewards, quick relief, instant distractions. And that kills our ability to stay focused on long-term, deep, meaningful tasks. It's like your brain is constantly jumping from branch to branch, chasing relief instead of accomplishment. People with ADHD feel this twice as intensely. The restless mind, the impulsivity, the struggle to finish things, it's not a lack of willpower. It's a chemical system hijacked by overstimulation. And no, you're not alone in this. It's happening to more people than you think. Have you noticed how easy it is to lose an hour scrolling on your phone, but nearly impossible to spend 10 minutes writing a report? That's not laziness. It's dopaminergic dysregulation. Your brain has learned that the easy stuff brings faster rewards. But here's the good news. It can unlearn that too. And that reprogramming starts small. Small like breaking a big task into bite-sized pieces. Small like accepting that 70% done is better than nothing done. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next. There's a cruel illusion that so many people carry without even realizing it. The belief that you should only start something if you can do it 100%. That mindset is the perfect fuel for procrastination. And that's where the mountain technique comes in. Picture a giant mountain. Just looking at the summit feels overwhelming, like it's miles away. But when you focus only on the next rock, the next step, everything changes. The mind relaxes, anxiety eases, and your focus starts to organize itself. This technique is all about breaking tasks into smaller, more doable, more breathable chunks. For example, instead of trying to read an entire book in one go, just read 5 pages. Don't have a full hour? Start with 15 minutes. The person who keeps waiting for the perfect time is often unknowingly feeding a paralyzing perfectionism. That mental rigidity is what blocks the natural flow of productivity. But when you give yourself permission to do just 70%, even if it's not your best, you break the cycle of self-sabotage. It's better to deliver something incomplete than to carry the heavy weight of never having started. And strangely enough, this rebalances your mindset. You shift from guilt mode to building mode. And here's the wild part. When you start, even if it's small, your brain stops feeling threatened. Tonic dopamine kicks in. Focus returns. Motivation builds. It's like jumping into cold water. The shock fades and your body adapts. People who use the mountain technique realize they don't need to feel 100% motivated to take action. They just need to start, because action comes before motivation, not the other way around. And sometimes, all it takes is a slightly more radical push. Sometimes procrastination gets so heavy that gentle techniques just don't cut it. It's like trying to push a stuck car with the tip of your finger. In those moments, what a person needs is a shock to the system, a kind of forced reset. This is where the so-called atomic bombs against procrastination come into play. Intense methods that jolt the nervous system, break the inertia loop, and trigger a new wave of motivation. A classic example? The cold shower. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, releases norepinephrine, regulates dopamine, and gives the body an instant sense of alertness. It snaps you out of stagnation, not through willpower, but through biology. Another powerful method is the radical constraint technique. Something like, either I write this page now, or I sit here doing absolutely nothing. No phone, no distractions, no escape. This kind of tactic triggers the brain's pain-reward circuitry. And once it realizes that boredom is more uncomfortable than the task itself, it gives in. It's a way of hacking your own behavior. People with ADHD, for example, often thrive with this kind of intervention because it uses their impulsivity to fuel productivity instead of sabotage it. It might sound extreme, but that's exactly what the brain sometimes needs. A clear signal that staying stuck is no longer safe. And that shock, it changes everything. Anxiety starts to dissolve because the mind shifts from rumination mode to action mode. Self-sabotage loses its grip. Motivation returns. And with it, something deeper begins to emerge. A question that goes beyond how to act. How do you tell the difference between a necessary pause and a disguised escape? There's a thin, almost invisible line between true rest and disguised escape. Many people confuse the two and end up feeding their procrastination while thinking they're taking care of themselves. Real rest recharges you. It restores energy, calms your nervous system, and prepares your mind to refocus. Escape, on the other hand, is an empty pause, one that only serves to delay what actually needs to be done. You know that moment when you suddenly feel the urgent need, to organize your drawer, or when replying to random messages suddenly becomes top priority, right when it's time to start your most important task. Yeah, that's not rest. That's escape. And behind that escape is usually anxiety trying to control the environment. The brain creates micro-rewards to avoid the discomfort of real effort. It's like choosing a warm blanket over a cold shower while you're sweating and need the shock. It feels good, but it doesn't solve the problem. People with ADHD experience this cycle even more intensely. Focus slips away, the mind drifts, and simple tasks start to feel like massive obstacles. The way out? Awareness. Recognizing that rest is vital, but real rest has timing, intention, and limits. Not every break heals fatigue. Want rest that actually works? Take a short walk without your phone. Read something light. Take a cold shower. Yes, it's making a comeback here. Meditate for 5 minutes, or just sit in silence for a while. That kind of rest soothes dopamine, regulates anxiety, and realigns your mindset. But if your rest involves 5 tabs open, a video playing in the background, and your mind hopping over to TikTok every 2 minutes, you might be fooling yourself. And realizing that, that's the first step to reconnecting with what really matters. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what truly drives you? Motivation dies in the dark. When purpose fades, procrastination takes over. The brain craves visual, concrete, tangible reminders. You know that feeling of being lost, drained, disconnected from everything? That's often not laziness. It's just a forgotten purpose, buried under routine, pressure, and anxiety. And that's why making your purpose visible is a game changer. Photos of your family, goals taped to the wall, quotes that remind you why you started. These aren't just decorations, they're mental anchors. Here's how it works. When you frequently visualize your goal, your brain activates areas linked to sustained motivation, boosting tonic dopamine. That means you stop acting on impulse and start acting with direction. A father who sees the kind of future he wants to build for his kids. A woman who keeps a picture of the healthy body she's striving for. A young entrepreneur who stares daily at the logo of the company he dreams of creating. That pulls your attention away from the uncomfortable now and locks it onto the rewarding after. And this is one of the most powerful anti-self-sabotage triggers you can use. Want to apply it today? Don't underestimate the power of the simple. A photo stuck to your fridge. A handwritten quote on your mirror. A daily alarm on your phone named after your dream. Make your purpose look you in the eyes every single day. Because on the hard days, when anxiety hits, when productivity crashes, when focus runs dry, it'll be that visual reminder that brings you back. Because in the end, this isn't just about checking off tasks. This is about building a life. And even when everything feels like it's falling apart, there's one force that can keep you standing tall. The way you treat yourself after you fall. There's a silent belief that quietly destroys many people's productivity. The idea that failure is a sign of weakness. But what if I told you that even history's greatest geniuses were masters of procrastination? Leonardo da Vinci took 16 years to finish the Mona Lisa. Newton left countless discoveries unpublished, paralyzed by fear of judgment. This isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Self-sabotage gains power every time self-compassion is left behind. Because without empathy for yourself, every slip-up feels like a final verdict. Self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It's emotional strategy. It's looking at yourself with humanity and realizing that productivity without respect for your limits becomes punishment. Ever catch yourself saying, "I'm a disaster. I can never get it right. I'm a chronic procrastinator"? That's not just venting, it's negative reprogramming. The brain believes what you repeat, and every one of those phrases chips away at your ability to rise. Swap "I'm incapable" for "I'm learning." That simple shift doesn't just change your mindset, it changes your dopamine flow. Suddenly, the brain stops seeing failure and starts spotting progress. Want one simple, powerful step? Write a letter to yourself, the way a best friend would. Then read it out loud on the hard days. Write down your wins, no matter how small. Remind yourself of how many things you've overcome that once felt impossible. This isn't fluff. This is applied neuroscience. This is reconstruction psychology. Because in the end, what sustains focus, motivation, and productivity isn't rigidity. It's kindness. And when you finally learn how to rise without tearing yourself apart on the way up, something inside you wakes up. And maybe, just maybe, you're finally ready to hear something that could change everything. Now tell me, after everything you've just learned, are you really going to keep hiding behind the excuse of, I'll do it later? Because if you've made it this far, you already hold the key. You've seen it. Procrastination isn't about laziness. It's not a lack of willpower. It's emotional blockage. It's messy dopamine. It's fear dressed up as fatigue. And now that you know this, there's no going back. The real question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you try a technique? Take that cold shower tomorrow morning? Stick that quote on your mirror? Write that letter to yourself you've been putting off? Because in the end, the only thing that separates those who transform from those who repeat the same cycles is action. And sometimes all it takes is that first step, even if you're scared, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're nowhere near ready. So tell me, are you ready to stop running and start building? If this hit home for you, if it sparked something inside, then go ahead. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Every week, you'll find practical tools, applied neuroscience, mindset strategies, time management systems, productivity hacks, and real-life breakthroughs, all designed to help you reprogram your mind and reinvent your life. Now go, and whatever you do, don't go back to the same place.